Have you ever wondered how ChatGPT actually thinks? It can write essays, solve problems, and even hold conversations. But how does it make those decisions? The truth is, ChatGPT doesn't think like a human. It doesn't have emotions, memories, or beliefs. Instead, it uses something called pattern prediction to generate text that feels natural and intelligent. When you type a prompt, ChatGPT breaks your words into tiny pieces called tokens. It looks at each token and predicts what should come next based on patterns it learned during training. Think of it like an extremely advanced version of autocomplete, but instead of finishing your sentence, it builds entire paragraphs with logic and coherence. ChatGPT was trained on a massive collection of text from books, articles, websites, and conversations. During training, it processed billions of examples, learning how words and ideas connect. Over time, it develops statistical models that help it predict which sequences of words make the most sense in a given context. So when you ask it a question, it doesn't know the answer. It predicts the most likely answer based on patterns it's seen before. Here's an example. If you type, "explain gravity like I'm 5, ChatGPT doesn't remember what gravity is. It has no stored facts in the human sense. Instead, it analyzes your request and generates a response that fits the pattern of how people explain science to children. Simple, friendly, and clear. That's why it can adapt its tone or writing style depending on how you ask. It's important to understand that ChatGPT doesn't have intent or consciousness. It's not aware of truth or lies. It only generates words that statistically fit together. That's why fact-checking is still necessary even when the output sounds confident. The AI doesn't know it's wrong. It's just predicting text that sounds right. So what makes it feel intelligent? The secret lies in context. ChatGPT doesn't only look at the last word you typed. It considers the entire conversation within its context window. That means it can keep track of topics, refer back to earlier points, and produce responses that feel connected. In many ways, this ability to maintain context gives the illusion of thought. You can guide its thinking by writing better prompts. When you assign it a role, for example, act as a marketing expert, you're shaping the direction of its predictions. It adjusts tone, vocabulary, and reasoning patterns to fit that role. This isn't real understanding, but it mimics how humans use perspective to solve problems. ChatGPT's reasoning can also be influenced by step-by-step instructions. When you ask it to think aloud or explain your reasoning, it expands its internal logic process, making its output more structured. This is known as chain of thought prompting, and it helps reveal how the model builds answers one logical step at a time. In simple terms, ChatGPT doesn't think. It predicts. It takes all the words before, analyzes them, and calculates what comes next to create meaning. Every answer is a dynamic composition, generated fresh for your prompt. It doesn't recall past sessions unless context is reintroduced, and it doesn't store personal data unless built into a custom system. Understanding how ChatGPT thinks helps you use it better. It's not about having conversations with a mind. It's about giving precise instructions to a machine built to mirror language. The more clearly you write, the more intelligently it responds. So next time ChatGPT gives a surprisingly good answer, remember, it isn't reading your mind. It's reading your words, one token at a time, and predicting the most meaningful way to continue. That's the power and the magic of how ChatGPT thinks.